and plus Gabrielle are going to do a presentation today. And I wanted to tell a little bit about it before we started, because when we were practicing, some of the people didn't understand what we were doing. And I want to first say that when I first became aware of this skit, I guess we can call it, that we're doing this morning, every time I saw it, I would just bawl, cry and cry and cry and cry, because I saw myself in this. Because this is exactly the kinds of things that happened to me that drew me away from the Lord. And then, praise His name, He drew me back. So, I mean, it's like the story of my life. And so, still, there are times I watch it and I just cry, because I know what Jesus brought me out of. Our presentation today is an overview of a young person's relationship with Jesus and the temptations that they face and are many times drawn away by. It's not to exalt darkness, but an honest picture of the reality that they struggle with. Many of us forget that it's not flesh and blood, people, that give us problems, but the minions of Satan's kingdom that move those people. Okay? We need to be sobered where truth is concerned. Many times we want to ignore things that are truthful. For instance, like they had the abortion commercials on, and people fought to get those off the TV because they were so honest about what really goes on with a baby in the womb that's being killed, murdered. On this day that we celebrate the resurrection of our Lord Jesus, let us be moved to call Him to deliver us from evil. I want to tell you the parts that the kids are playing. Dwayne, as you can tell, is playing the part of Jesus. He's a little embarrassed about being in a dress, but I want to thank him for doing this, because we haven't done this skit before, because we haven't had willing boys to do it. And I'll tell you something about that here in a minute. Dwayne's playing the part of Jesus, and you will see Jesus moving and communing with the young woman whom he loves. Gretchen is playing the part of the young woman, who in the beginning you will see is responding to Jesus, how He is moving her. She moves with Him, and He's showing her the wonders of His creation. And she responds in every way, and then she is drawn away as she is tempted by different kinds of sin. Brianna, in the absence of more boys, is playing the part of a boy to illustrate the temptation of sexual sin. Jackie is playing the part of the temptation of money and things. Krista is playing the part of the friend who brings the temptation of drugs and alcohol. Ashley is playing the part of vanity that often drives people to do things to keep them thin, convincing them that they're never good enough, that they'll never look good enough. And so this is a big problem these days. Young girls are talked into doing a lot of things that are awful so that they can be thin and supposedly look better. Gabrielle is playing the part of Satan's minion that convinces people to do harm to themselves, even to the point of death. I want to further comment on this, because it's such a huge deception in the day that we live in concerning the act of cutting. At one point you're going to see the demon talk her into cutting herself. Well, I have talked to many young people, online and in person, who cut themselves, and I asked them why they do this. A lot of you that work with young people know that this is an epidemic problem right now. And they say it's because they are in control of the pain. They can control the pain. And the reason they do it is because of relationships that they have that are bad. And they're constantly being hurt. And this is one way they can control the pain. It doesn't make sense. But remember, it's the enemy that talks them into doing this. Okay? And at the end of our presentation, you will see that Jesus draws the young woman back to Himself, conquering the enemy in her life as she once again cries out to Jesus. Can everyone get into place?